not possible to. Okay. So we are in Teatro Comunale di Vicenza with Ole Morten Vagan from Trondheim Jazz Orchestra.
Exactly.
Welcome to Vicenza.
Thank you.
So this is a dance jazz performance. I saw the audience listening very carefully without dancing, but just giving the tempo with the head, sometimes like this. Do you think it's a kind of dance music? What's the dance idea of this?
I don't think dance. I wasn't thinking of dance in particular, but I think a lot about rhythm.
Okay.
Yeah, and dance is rhythm. So in some sense, it should move your body.
Okay.
But you don't have to dance. No, but I don't think I ever made music for dancing, actually. Like particularly. It's more for the heart and the ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I think to Norway, the first name it occurs to me in my mind. It's of course Edvard Grieg, or also some Viking music band, metal band, and so on. What about the jazz in Norway? Is it so spread and popular like it could be the classical music or also the metal music?
Well, jazz in Norway has a good audience, but it also has more and more a bigger audience outside of Norway. So most of the Norwegian top jazz musicians they travel outside Norway also to hold concerts, do tours. So I mean sometimes we play for more people in Poland than you do in Oslo.
In Poland?
Yeah, I mean Norway is a small country, so there's not so many people. But in every sense, there's a really good jazz community in Norway. Yeah.
So is there a kind of Norwegian style of jazz? Is it something recognizable abroad?
Most of the Norwegian jazz that goes outside of Norway is modern jazz.
Okay.
Yeah, and modern improvisation music. And I think maybe before in the 70s and 80s, the Norwegian musicians used the folk music more. Now that is not that's not so important anymore. But still, I think it has some kind of modern flavor to it. So there's also straight ahead jazz in Norway, but mostly it's modern jazz that goes outside. I think so.
And what about the folk tradition with jazz music or classical music? Many times the folk tradition has a strong influence on the musicians.
I think folk music is very strong in Norway. I think it's also very strong in Sweden. But I think it's maybe more in the society than in, I don't know. I'm not sure about German society or Italian society, but I think most of Norwegian people know a folk song or 10. I mean, it's something you know about. So for sure, it's part of the music.
What's the country you like most to play jazz?
Somewhere warm.
So the lineup of the band, of the orchestra, changes depending to the projects. So how can you keep the identity of the orchestra?
I think that is actually the identity. That every project is new. That's our identity. And it took some years to establish this idea for the audience, because you go to see the band and it's a different band. But now I think that the people and the audience have understood how it works and they enjoy it. So I think that's actually that's kind of our identity, that it's different every time.
So the fact that it changes quickly and according to the project, it's the identity of
I think so. Yeah.
So you look all very young, and the orchestra plays since the late 90s. And how long have you been? Since how long have you been a member of the orchestra? You and your mates.
Some of these musicians were on the first project in 2000. It was half students and half professionals on the first gig, which was a concert in Molde in Norway with Chick Corea. So this was the establishment of the gig. So half of them were still in the conservatory, and the other half were like professional musicians, but not very old, maybe early 30s, early 20s.
How old are you?
I am 39.
Okay. And what about your...
My first project was in 2002
Okay.
with this band.
Okay.
But like most of the band, there are still around 40 somewhere.
Okay.
But we're getting older.
Many times in contemporary music, like for example dance music, musicians and producers have no background in classical music. You all can read the partiture and have a clearly classical education. Is it possible, in your opinion, to be a jazz player nowadays without having a classical awareness?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't really read music until the last 10 years. So I think that's possible. It's still, with this band, we rehearse with the sheet music, but it's always about getting the sound and using the ears. Yeah.
Okay, so my last question for you is, was it your first time in Italy? What did you like most and what did you dislike most of being?
It's not my first time.
Okay.
No. I've been many times in Italy, but I like the food and the atmosphere very much. I also like the temperature very much.
I could say the same things of Norway.
Yeah. But also there's a really long tradition for culture in this country. You have concert houses which are 300 or 400 years old, which we don't have that in the same way in Norway. We have old churches, but Norway was a society of farmers and fishermen until the last 100 years, 150 years. So I like to come here. You see all these cities that you hear about all the time, Milano, Naples, and you realize they're very close, like Vicenza, Venezia. Norway is really far away, so we're kind of in the heart of something when you come to Italy.
I traveled around Scandinavia for many years for my holidays, and I noticed that the place where people do music is the church. In all the places where there is a church, there is a piano, or there are someone that's playing or singing. Also, not sacred music in the church. For us Italians, it's something really strange to play not sacred music.
To play secular music.
Yes, secular music in the church, because the church is the place where people gather. So it's the place where, for example, I saw in Iceland. There is a church in Westfjords, where the first day of the festival, the rock festival concert, even if it's metal, it's played in the church. For us, it's unthinkable.
No, but this is a long tradition in Norway also, to play secular music in the church. I like it. It's a nice room for music.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time and congratulations for your music.
Thank
I hope
you so
to
much.
see you again here in VicenzaJazz.
Hope so.
Thank you.
Ciao.